Hey folks, this is Kelani, and we're going to be looking at Artificing. Now, I did start this just a little bit, then I thought, you know what might be different? If I actually showed them what I was doing. So, that is what this video is going to be. I will try and cut out any large boring bits just to save time, excuse me. And hopefully this will give you a little bit of a better guide. So first up, as we are starting, one thing to worth noting, I guess, is that I actually have all my materials already. So I went ahead and bought surplus amounts of my ores and my logs, so I have a great deal of those, and I also went ahead and bought some choice few fine crafting materials. Now this did cost me quite a bit of gold, but that's okay because I doubt I'll use it all, and anything that I don't use I can sell back to either break even or lose less money, so that's not too bad. If you aren't able to do this, then obviously farming your metals is going to be farming your metals. You're just going to have to wander around looking for those nodes. I'll actually have a few videos about farming specific metals coming out, as well as the specific logs. They're obviously dependent on level of area to what trees give you what. I'm sure someone knows it all, but never mind. So to start with, we're going to be refining. Now, bronze requires tin, which can be purchased from your master artificer. So I'm guessing we'll need a couple of each of these, so I'm going to go ahead and just buy those up.
Goodbye.
So, first things first is to smelt, or refine, I suppose I should say. So, I'm going to go ahead and refine everything we have. Now, as with weaponsmithing, do not create as many dowels as you can. This is just precautionary, really, because I don't want to have to make metal dowels without having planks available. So we'll just go ahead and craft up the load of these.
I just keep getting better.
My little elementalist's taking over my guardian. That's not good. I'm going to have to level another profession on the guardian. So, when I was doing this, the first thing I did notice was that you seem to be able to level entirely off of wood. It may be slower than not using metal, but that's definitely going to be cheaper. Maybe, depending on the prices of wood and how they go. But if you look, that you can create a green staff shaft, I'm going to say that wrong sometime, with planks, as well as a head with planks. So 8 planks will get you an item you can use to combine with an inscription to give you many experience, and you can just make that if woods are particularly cheap. The rest require a metal, or not. Green focus requires no metal. Scepter requires no metal. Wow, okay, so the only thing that actually requires metal is trident, which is interesting. So I'm going to just make a few of these, just so we've got something to play with. Gonna have to make some dowels. Now, as you can see, if you do lose track of what you've created, it does tell you here that I have 1 green staff shaft, so I can create a head, and it'll tell me that I have 1. So, you know, that's pretty nice. We'll go ahead and make a focus, and then we'll get to some inscriptions. So, with fine crafting materials, if you're going for the cheapest, your go-to is always going to be venom sacks. Always going to be venom sacks. They appear to be the cheapest of the cheap. So, if we throw those in with an inscription, boom, experience. Now that's kind of low because we are about to break into the new inscriptions at 25. So, as I say, with these that require the dowels, I would very much, I need shafts to do those, very much be careful with how many dowels you actually create. I mean, you can create a couple, But I wouldn't take it too far, because if we do need metal, I mean, I may be completely wrong about this, but if I'm right, then I may have saved us both a lot of gold, or silver or copper, depending on what we're using. Shaft. Oh! Well, that's confusing. Why do they look the same? Okay, so moving on to the next lot of inscriptions is Tiny, Scale, Claw and Totem. But that's kind of frustrating because I didn't actually buy any, so I'll go ahead and buy some of those up and get back to you in a few moments. Okay, so I went ahead and bought 15 so we can craft all of these inscriptions. And we're just going to put these together with what we have already. So I already have a trident staff, and obviously because we're using the same inscription for all of these, it's far more beneficial to just create different items instead of, like, you know, we're going to discover different items instead of discovering one and then making it several times over. So go ahead and discover all of these. You can see that the experience gain is a little bit higher than what we were using before. It's probably because the inscriptions themselves are orange, which is always nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this up to 50, and I'll come back basically when I've done that. Okay, so we hit 50, and as you can see we do actually need to make bronze plated dowels. Now this is both advantageous and disadvantageous because we get a new experience dump, I guess. So we can happily throw all of these now because okay, so we can't throw all of them because we still need the wood to make most of our items, and we need the metals to make the tridents. But what we can do is throw quite a lot of them in because we're getting experience. So, and we will continue to get experience until this starts to die down. So it may be an idea to do that. It depends how conservative you want to be with your materials. I know personally I do not care at all, so I'm going to end up buying more green wood, but that's fine because I'm buying more green wood. It really doesn't matter to me. The difference coming into this is that we actually have a requirement of 8 fine crafting materials with the plated dowel. So if we just create one of those, we need to create one of those. The good thing is you get quite a lot of experience for it. And then I'm going to try to keep this cheap on wood, so I'll make a trident. Pop those together, and we get 4 levels of experience. So you don't necessarily need to go hugely overboard, rather, with your fine crafting materials, but obviously you can happily sell back anything you do not use. So again, we'll try and keep it as cheap as possible. We'll go with a focus. I'm just trying to avoid staff shaft, 6 wood, madness. So we'll go for another malign. You see, you get the level for doing the dowel as well as the inscription. Let's create another one of those. Oh, near enough a level. So we're 14 away from using iron. This means A, we can burn quite a lot of our wood. I mean, if we get to 75 with no wood, no worries, we're moving on to next wood anyway. Same with copper or the bronze that we're using. If we run out, you know, we run out. There's not really it just doesn't matter at all unless you're trying to sell things back. You may have overused. Doesn't really matter. My inventory is full. Excellent. One thing to note is while you're doing this, it may be possible if we just sneak out.
How's it going?
Maybe. I think it's just short, actually. No, there we go. We can actually open both of these at the same time. So, I can happily sell back all of these because they're not going to sell on the trading post for any great amount. In fact, a lot of them actually sell for 1 copper above the vendor price, which is actually going to cost you money. So, watch out for that. The other thing to do with them is salvage them if you're short on materials. depending on what you're buying, you may be able to get more materials on the trading post for selling it to a vendor than you can from actually salvaging it. You know, because if I was to get 1 green wood out of any of that, I would have actually lost, because I can buy nearly 2 green wood with 20 copper. So it's just thinking about these little things that'll get you to the 400 as easy as possible. So I'll come back to you when I've got to 75. I'll show you that everything resets, and from there it's pretty much the same game all the way through, really. So I'll get back to you when I'm at 75. Okay, so I hit 75, 76 close enough. One thing I did just notice is that it seems that the refinement has either gone up, so they've nerfed, I guess, crafting, or artificing requires more material, but that doesn't make sense. So I guess they've actually increased the amount it takes to refine, unless I'm thinking of something completely different. But I remember logs being 2 or 3 and iron being 2 and then 3 for steel, or 2 for steel. I don't know, it's been a long time since I did weaponsmithing, but that feels a little off to me, so I'll have to investigate that, and actually I'll comment back if I do find anything suspicious. But once again, I'm just refining the entire thing. It restarts with iron, it restarts with your crafting materials, any crafting materials you have not used from your previous tier. If you're wanting to try and save money, sell them. And I've got a few venom sacks which I'll be throwing back on the trading post. In fact, I'll do that while the iron is refining. Any crafting materials which they're in my collectibles. Okay, so we'll wait until iron's finished. You can see you get quite a majority of the way into see 20 levels just from refinement. That's not bad at all. Any say bronze ingots, I'll sell those. So we'll draw those. 2 copper ore, lumps of tin. These things aren't really that worth selling, but you get more than if you would sell them to a vendor. So I mean, I guess it's worth it in that respect. Bronze plated dowels, if they do even sell. Bronze ingots. Throw the copper ore on. Do we have any? Yeah, we have spare wood. So I mean, if you're not going to use these for anything else in particular, you're better off just reselling them to get a little bit of money back on what you spent. And from here, it literally is just the same all over again. You're making your dowels to make your inscriptions to combine with your pieces of gear. So, you shouldn't really need any additional help getting up through the levels. I'll just give you a little glimpse of when I reach the milestones, and anything that interesting happens as I get to 400.
Is it just me, or am I amazing? I have.
Here's one thing to note. Watch how much iron you're using when smelting for iron, as you need iron again when you get to steel. That's at 150. Just thought that was worth mentioning.
Another personal victory. Just one more confirmation of how great I am. Just one more confirmation of how great I am. Is it just me, or am I amazing? Just one more confirmation of how great I am.
And now we have 400. Now, the one thing that I'm going to say first is that this was basically weaponsmithing. more or less exactly the same as weaponsmithing. The only thing that I can say is that this uses wood a great deal more than metal, whereas weaponsmithing uses metal a great deal more than wood. So there's a chop and change there, which was enough to keep it interesting, I suppose. Apart from that, the one main thing that I took note of was the amount of raw materials I actually needed. Softwood especially, I think I ended up with about 1,000 softwood logs, give or take, which is an insane amount. I mean, I really do think they've changed something about the refinement there. Unless that's just me. I mean, I don't remember it requiring 4 for weaponsmithing. If it does now, I don't know. But that was artificing. The one thing that I do like about artificing is that the woods are generally cheaper than the metals. So I'm going to have a little fun with ectoplasm farming, shuffling, farming, whatever you want to call it. So see if I can make a little bit of the money back on that. This did actually end up costing me quite a lot of gold. I had 8 in there, and then there was another 3 gold which I got from the trading post while doing this. So that cost me quite a lot, a considerable amount more than any of the ones that I've done so far. I'm not entirely sure if that's just the quantity of raw materials that I required, or the prices chopping and changing. As you can see, I didn't actually use any silver, I didn't use a great deal of platinum. That's actually it for crafting materials. I ended up burning through quite a lot of the fine crafting materials, and I had to replan my wood so often, it was crazy. But that was artificing. So next up will probably be huntsman or leatherworking, depending on... Probably leatherworking. I don't want to play with wood for a while now. So yeah, we'll have a look at leatherworking next. I cannot say when that video will be, as I'm going to be chopping and changing around a little bit. There's going to be more than just the vistas and crafting videos coming out, so I hope you're looking forward to that. There may even be a special little something in there. So, as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Apart from that, good luck if you're trying this, and as always, have fun. See you later, guys.